Yeah, welcome to this episode, which is number 52.
Academy of Tone 52. Welcome along, everybody.
Yeah, 1 year of Academy of Tone.
Yeah.
Time flies, right?
It certainly does, yeah. I mean, for me, I'm still relatively new here, but you've done, 52 of these now.
Yeah, you came kind of in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like 100 hours you've probably spent doing this. What's my mic there?
100 hours, you think, well, this is what you see, but I spent a little bit more time preparing the whole thing.
No, I mean 100 hours of really useful, interesting content for the guys
Yeah.
watching at home.
Yeah, I think we had a great year. That's the only positive thing about the pandemic. It forced me to do something because I couldn't even connect to any audience anymore. Neither just a few gigs, a few streaming things, and what was it? Drive-in concerts, a few,
Yeah.
and some nice combination of that. But the making a YouTube channel and keeping that alive with content was always on my wish list, and I never had a time to do it.
It's funny, do you remember we met at the NAMM show last year in 2020 and we sort of talked about it. I was sort of telling you,
Yeah,
you know what's going to be big this year? You know what you should do?
Yeah.
You should start doing a live stream.
Well,
And we started talked about it, and then 2 months later the world shut down, and then you were finally able to devote that time to doing the live show.
the big thing is don't make those wishes. Anything you have in your mind might come true. you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
I have this kind of products in my head or other stuff that I'm thinking of, and one day it's there. It's scary. Sometimes it's really, really scary. But this is our trophy.
Here you go. Well, don't give it to me. I should be presenting it to you. But this is the
1 year of Academy of Tone trophy.
Yeah, the trophy one, presented to you, Thomas Blug, and everyone in front of and behind the camera, and everyone watching at home for
Yeah, cheers, guys.
staying with it this long. And
Yeah.
I hope there's going to be another year. There will be, won't there?
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's no reason for not doing any more live streams, or there's no reason for stopping. Yeah. Anyway, we have to lift the secret about my happy drink as well one day. Did we ever send that one? No.
No, we didn't.
Okay.
That's for episode 100 or something. Maybe a bit sooner than that. But
So this is a drink. It's a combination of sparkling water with lemon and an Italian aperitif called Cynar, whatever that is. It's made from artichokes.
yeah,
I love it because it's a kind of a bit. Let's put a trophy here. It's a little bit bitter, it's a little bit sour, and it's a little bit sweet. It's like it has a lot of gain. I'm not talking about alcohol, but in taste.
yeah, no, exactly. It's the way Thomas makes it that makes it a special beverage. And I have a video of him preparing the drink for you guys, which at some point I shall share on the social media channel.
Yeah. I prepared a little list of all the guys that we have seen over the last year on the Academy of Tone live streams. And when you look at the list, it's kind of, wow, impressive. So my memories go back, like, of course, the last week and the week before, and everything from the very beginning is kind of way back and kind of fading already, and it was nice this afternoon thinking about, what we actually have done. And just reading some of the names here, and this is kind of like backwards from now. It's I was in Hamburg with Lasse Lammert and Niels Finkeisen, which we actually have another clip with Niels at the end of this episode.
Yep, we do. And we have a Niels in the chat right now.
Is it
I think,
Niels?
Well, he was there. I think he still is.
Yeah.
So hi to Niels if you're still
Niels
watching.
is everywhere. Where's Niels?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Then also in Hamburg, I met Otto Walkes, the famous comedian, which was great. And then another episode, we had Thijs van Leer. Thijs, the band leader of Focus, and we played 10 years. I have so many memories. And this, it was great because I called him on his birthday, which was exactly a Wednesday, for the stream. So it was another great reason, you know, just to catch up again and talk. Great, you know, Thijs van Leer. At the very beginning, there was Jennifer Batten. Yeah, Jennifer is AMP1 user from day one. She bought the prototype, and you know, we go back so long, but BluGuitar kind of connected us closer, or the AMP1, which I kind of like, because, you know, we're always sneaking around at trade shows 20 years ago, like waving hi, you know, it's nice, oh, you're nice, very nice, and then have maybe a few words here and there, but yeah, we didn't spend that much time. And then when she bought the AMP1, and yeah, we spoke more, and then one day I invited her to join my Rock Anarchy. We met a whole tour, so we, you know, we spent time in the tour bus and during the setup, and this is where you really start to meet people on another level.
Yeah.
And I'm very impressed about, again, her how professional she is, and anything can happen and she's still cool with it. Mm-hmm. So, and that's very unusual for most women. Most women that I know are more emotional, and that's the thing. I really, yeah, she knows what she wants. She knows what's the proper way to express what, you know, what needs to be said to get something done. It's like, hey guys, blah blah blah, in a very nice way. Yeah, it was a great experience with her. She's totally professional, and yeah, I heard her as a guest on the stream. Jude Gold, another great guitar player from Los Angeles. We also have a, like, without knowing each other, he filmed me and stuff like that, and you know, and having a live stream and inviting him is a cool thing, because I knew he had nothing to do. Yeah. So that's the good thing about live stream and the pandemic. You know that you get those people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here on the list, Frank Nimskern, you know, local, but a big guy here in the Saarland, you know, also, yeah, you know, we talked about in our episode, but this, you know, when we were kind of teenagers, we met, and then we did our thing, and then we met just briefly in between, and then one day when I played with the orchestra, he actually came to my door and presented a bottle of red wine and said, "Hey man, you did it," and kind of thing, and you know, now we are real buddies, and this was another great one, and he was here. Manuel Kettenring, you know him very well from the Jusen Gettner days, and Manuel is really a great guy when it comes to humbucker tones and the more modern rock approach. I mean, he's not a metal guy, but I'm the vintage rock, blues rock guy, and he's kind of the you know, onwards. He has this kind of, where I kind of stopped, he kind of fades in. And we have some overlapping things, and I really enjoyed, I think he was on the Academy of Tone like twice or even 3 times, and I wish we can have him back.
I'm sure we will at some point.
Yeah.
There is time.
Yeah. Another thing, Manuel Zewe is a local metal guy, and that's another thing about live stream. I came closer to the metal guys. I mean, with Iridium, of course, but also with doing these live streams. You know, it's like, okay, we got to do something. So, what kind of weird stuff are you doing here? Like, money, and it's super cool. I mean, it's a very cool guy, and actually the whole band, Godslave, they are locals here, and they are real good buddies. They have a culture about that, and even the first time when we met, it was kind of a super warm welcome, and you know, the ice was melted in a minute, you know, so it was cool. And then Martin Hennecke, the guy from the Saarländische Staatsorchester, you know, a totally different thing, which was great. Mick Woll, who is the head of the urban club band from Frankfurt. first killer guitar player. And the family, I love the family story. His daddy is also a guitar player in Tom Woll, and I could make a movie about this family somehow. And I played on a stage where Tom was playing after me, and I played with Mick, blah blah blah. All nice. I will invite Mick again as well. Yeah, Alex Bayroth, and here is of course his guitar. Maybe we can see his signature on the headstock. There we go, Alex Bayroth. Another Iridium user, and this is maybe also something that inspired me for this episode today, because usually I play a Strat and I play the Mercury, and today I thought, you know, with all the impressions that I have had from the live streams and last week in Hamburg, or 2 weeks ago in Hamburg, I got very inspired about Iridium. Is such a cool amp. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm just going through the list. Gundi Keller. What can I say? Gundi Keller is Mr. Trade Show. We've been through thick and thin, through the weirdest venues, the weirdest exhibitions. Cool, Gundi. Fabian Ratzak, killer guitar player. I also tried to get him back, and Gundi as well. Oliver Hartmann, yeah, I think he was here 2 times, killer. Andreas Kloppmann, we did an episode, the guy that I'm working with the BluGuitars and the pickups, of course, and then there was Ben Granfeld. I played with actually last year. Unthinkable, but we played at the end of summer in 2020 indoors.
Where was that?
Do I remember? Somewhere on the Rhine River. I remember before playing the gig, I went down to the Rhine, had a little walk, watching the beautiful big river. Kleve, maybe, I forgot about it.
Yeah.
And then we played outdoors. We had a tour of like 3-4 gigs end of last summer. It was possible.
Yeah.
It might come again.
Who knows?
Yeah. And then we met Paul Rose at the very beginning of the live stream. Sweet guy, killer guitar player, and one of the finalists from the Strat King Awards, where I was the lucky one, but you know, everybody else is better. It doesn't matter. Then we had from Nashville, Nathan McFarland, who I met in Nashville, and he's kind of the expert when it comes to the AMP1 with the Helix or the HX effects. So that's killer. And it's great to have, you know, a Nashville guy and that kind of perspective there. To me, that was very special. And then local, again, Knut Bausch. Knut is Mr. For me, if I have a MIDI question, if I have anything modern technology, if you want to know an XFX3 kind of question, what kind of super tridimensional chorus program they have and what kind of control changes can control that using something, you know, complex. Knut is the guy to call up and I have an idea about that. Maybe retry that. Yeah. Then we had a little snippet with Miller Anderson, who is a British, actually legend. He played at Woodstock, and we played 2019 a Woodstock festival together in North Germany. And yeah, so I put that little video, which I shot with my mobile phone, on that live stream here. And I think we also had Trevor Wilkinson once course, you know Trev.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I know Trev well. Yeah.
Me too.
He's been on the live stream, has he?
Yeah, I think it was.
Oh yeah, you interviewed him. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a pre-recorded section.
Yeah.
And I know him so well. I was even sleeping at his house in the guest room, not in his bed. Okay, and of course I met you through the live streams here, and which is great. And what also came to mind was a funny thing. It wasn't actually funny. It was weird. I did the episode about Eddie Van Halen tone, and then he passed away like a week later. I mean, this is like, oops, what's wrong here? That was really tough. I mean, I think for most guitarists watching this, Eddie Van Halen was the hero, the guitar hero, and a big inspiration in playing, in whatever, Smile, in technique, in tone, in the Brown sound and all that. And then when Eddie passed away, Rick Beato did a review on the tone, and we are in contact. I told him, watch my episode, you can maybe get some inspiration for me, which he did. So all good. And then I put down a few memorable moments for myself, which maybe you will never notice or would never have noticed. One is when Julian, the camera guy, was trying to get closer with the camera, focusing everything, and he was turning, the lens, and then boop, the lens fell off with a big smash. So that was a classic here in the studio. And of course, what you guys also don't hear much, they are sometimes talking on the other side, and we talk here, and we talk for you, and they talk some other shit. Yeah. And sometimes it's like, hey, what's going on here? And another thing that happened here was also, I think Julian was, I was demonstrating an A-B comparison with the Mercury and my vintage Marshall with the black flag or whatever, one of my most expensive Marshalls. And I did the A-B thing and whatever, and at a certain point I looked, I was playing and the sound was still okay, and I looked at Julian, and Julian goes, wow, 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 and he couldn't scream because we were on the live stream, and he pulled faces everywhere. I didn't know what was wrong, but actually I could see his face turning red, because afterwards I was lucky to switch back to the AMP1, because what happened was I was using the Marshall without a load. Oh, cranked. Okay, and I'm so happy that this amp survived. I mean, usually at that kind of volume, what I've done, the output transformers would melt.
Yeah.
And I was just lucky to switch back. But the funny thing was for me, what's wrong here? What's wrong here? Everything seems to work, and he kind of freaked, Yeah. So, yeah, all this kind of, and all the rest kind of went pretty well. I mean, everything is improvised, and of course sometimes we have a cable issue here, and our switching system is making noises.
Yeah.
We'll try a new one in a week maybe. I ordered it. But I'm aware that switching a high gain setting is a critical thing by physics nature, because there's a input signal of that size or output, and there is an output signal of that, and millions of dBs of gain, and that's something that is a hard thing for switching systems. Let's see if the new one is any better. Who's on the screen? We have tons of congratulations. I can read that, yeah. And what is the live music you speak of? Live music?
Yeah, you were talking about playing live music, and I guess Pooh Ninja is asking, what is this live music? Because the guys at home, they probably forgot what live concerts are.
Yeah.
It's been so long since most of us have been able to do anything like that.
Yeah.
To go and play, to go and watch, to do anything like that.
It's unbelievable.
So you and Ben were pretty lucky that you got to play those shows.
Absolutely. And I have to mention a few of the promoters were so creative. I really admired the gig that we played at Bodensee. What is it called in English?
Lake Constance.
Constance, yeah. And Hardy from Flieger in Tettnang. I always play there. And we are the local heroes there. We even have our own festival by now. And they had the show, they combined the stage outside. This was summer last year, and they combined the street, put some seats there in a certain distance, so for social distance, but we had some audience on seats, or at least where they should be placed. They could stand or they could sit on the seats. Then there was another zone with a parking lot where people could stand next to their cars. So they were kind of distanced between each other and from the others. And there was some more room next door where they're serving drinks, but also had people seated. So the guy, and he was managing the whole thing with the local police and the authorities. Worked. And we had a great time, and everybody was enjoying that so much. So yeah, and the gig with Ben, I remember we had a lot of distance from the stage to the audience, and the audience was also kind of in a big town hall, and they had to be seated, but with a lot of space between the people.
Yeah.
So it's weird, but at least we did it. We did music, and it's coming back. I know we have a critical moment here in Germany at the moment because the numbers are going up again. But I do a few outdoor things, which I'm sure they are managed properly in May, next month. Is it?
Yeah, next month. Wow, okay.
Okay, see if I can.
Yeah, let's see if they actually happen. That would be cool, I think. Yeah. So from my side, I guess the most enjoyable part of the live streams for me is just, I think I sort of experience them the same as most of you guys at home watching, because a lot of the time I'm also just sitting and listening to the guitar nerd stuff and the wisdom and watching you play, and I'm privileged because I get to sit right next to you and watch you play as well. Sometimes that makes me feel bad because
there's no reason.
If I read one of the comments there, someone says, how did Thomas remove all the bad notes from his guitars? And sometimes it makes me think, I wish I'd grown up a little bit older, so I wasn't kind of into grunge when I was a kid, so I didn't just need to learn a few chords. But yeah, I've learned a lot from watching the show, from being on it as well. And yeah, for example, recently with the cabinets, for example, that was a big theme that I think a lot of people on the show wanted to know about, and for me as well. And I got to learn a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we will continue a little bit with that. Like, I'm still having a few tips for recording in my head. And there are also some speaker things. The problem is, if everybody would be in the room here, it would be obvious and it would be easy to translate. Miking up a cabinet in a room to get the same impression like a human being is a hard thing.
Yeah.
So when I try to show you subtle speaker differences in a live stream, I'm not sure if that will work. I will make a test. Unfortunately, we didn't have the time yet, but during the next weeks we will try if we can get the audio across like we hear it here, so it makes sense for you guys. Otherwise, it's like, yeah, they're talking about something, but you have a different feeling. And it is that critical. It is. I mean, we're talking about subtleties, and miking up speakers is an art, and then showing different speakers is something that I wanted to do. But let's see if we succeed in getting it across on a live stream.
Yeah, let's see. And who knows, maybe in the future when things open up as well, we have the opportunity to maybe take this Academy of Tone show on the road somewhere. Maybe some of you guys have recommendations where you'd like Thomas and the team to come. And
I tell you where. Saarbrücken.
If everyone comes to Saarbrücken, we'll do one. We'll do one there.
Or if we have a bigger event somewhere, like a trade show, maybe there is Guitar Summit. There is Guitar Summit again. Maybe numbers are better and stuff like this. Just this is like a brainstorm here. We could maybe do a live stream on the Guitar Summit. But the Guitar Summit is on the weekend.
Yeah,
so
not on a
sorry,
Wednesday.
we can do a setup live stream. See, this is how Thomas uses the screwdriver, and yeah, whatever. Okay.
Just one final point about cabinets before we move on.
Yeah.
I feel it's my duty to tell everybody at home that we're still running a very great deal on cabinets at the moment on the BluGuitar web shop, aren't we?
Yeah, as that's another thing we've done since last year. We started to have our own web shop because we wanted to be available in a way, not only present here with a live stream, but also that you guys can get the stuff somewhere. I'm not against any shops. I'm big fan of shops, especially those who have the nice guys working there, which they know who I'm talking about, because I could mention all the names. And I like those shops because they have good people. But in these pandemic times, we had sometimes they had to be closed, and and therefore we worked on our website. We have that web shop, and there's a special on cabinets and T-shirts or something.
Yeah, exactly. We have
the T-shirts. We have the one shirt everybody knows.
Exactly. Yeah. So we have a couple of newer shirts that we did recently, an Academy of Tone one, I guess, to celebrate the year. And
yeah, let's put the one year here.
Yeah, and we decided to put the AMP one on this shirt as well, with Established 2014. So very nice choices. And if you buy a cabinet on the web store at the moment, you get a free T-shirt too. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
If you feel like a shirt, grab one and get a cab as well.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Okay, there's many options. I'm here. Let's put it that way. When I thought about this episode or the other day, I don't have big plans. It's kind of everything comes very naturally and spontaneous. We do a live stream, and that's the live stream, and then the next day there's a feeling about the previous one, and maybe this would make sense for the next one.
Yeah.
And for me, today I wanted to show the Iridium more, because the Iridium, I heard the Iridium when I was in Hamburg with Niels Finkeisen at a very late night AB comparison we did, and I was so impressed, because in the AB comparisons it was to me shocking, because there were 14, there was a modified Marshall that I thought, man, this amp sounds killer, we never get this, and there was a Rev amp and whatever, a lot of great amps, and Niels was playing and I was simply trying to get close with the AB system, my usual thing. See if we get there. And then we were so close. We will show this complete clip at the end of this episode, because it's like 30 minutes or something, and then you can see what actually happened that late night with rings under the eyes. But that was one thing. And then in the meantime, I saw a few new clips on YouTube. One was a guy from Brazil, Edu Ardanui.
Yeah.
And this guy, we put in the link. He was so excited about the Iridium, and he was kind of, watch the video. It's like this guy is having fun. I could feel how great he feels with this. This was his amp. Everything made total sense. So I watched this, and then there was another video from American Frankhauser.
Jason Frankhauser.
Yeah.
Kiloton, Texas.
From Texas.
Is the YouTube channel, yeah.
Yeah. And so that video came also across, and I watched it and said, there's something in the air about Iridium. Maybe we can watch the Jason's video now, so you get a feel what inspired me to do this episode.
Mm-hmm.
If heavy tones in a lightweight format interest you, stick around on Killer Tone Texas. Cool, hope you dug that. This is a totally viable travel rig, whether you're flying, trains, planes, automobiles, whatever it may be. Fits in an overhead, fits in a backpack, fits in a suitcase. For more information, check the description. I'll have a link to the product in there. And you know what? While you're at it, why don't you subscribe, ring the bell, do all that kind of stuff. Helps me out, man.
Yeah.
Helps us out too, so subscribe and like our videos as well. But I mean, Jason obviously really loves the amp, doesn't he? And he's someone who clearly knows his thing about metal. He lives and breathes it. He loves metal. And there's a great comment there. Oh, Kilotone, damn the freaking riff master from Texas. That's what he is. He's renowned for getting crushing tones out of these amps. And I think he must have been surprised when he first got the Iridium at the tones that he was getting from it as well.
Yeah, and for me, I just saw the result. It's like, hey, this makes total sense.
Yeah.
I was proud of that video.
Yeah.
And so what I did is I got myself my beloved Iridium again, and feeling. Okay, and it's like, there is something about this amp, and I was simply inspired by this video and another one, and I was imagining myself having this kind of guitar in my hand and having a band, and then that amp would make total sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what I try to do today is to show you what I like about the Iridium versus the Mercury. Everybody knows that I'm Mr. Mercury and that I play every gig that I play with the Mercury. But now I kind of try to wear a different hat, which I can do too. And just to show what's in for you or in for me with the Iridium.
Yeah, I think that's the key thing, because when that amp came out, I feel like you almost didn't want to play it that much because you're not a natural modern metal player.
Yeah.
I mean, you can play all the stuff you can play, of course, but you wanted to get specialists in who could showcase that kind of genre of music. And now we're at a stage where you're getting inspired by it. And I think what you're going to do today is give your personal perspective on this amp and show the guys at home who really want to see that, what sounds you can get from it.
Yeah, and that's kind of a feedback. So I did the sound design for the amp, And it's like I gave something to other people, and now it came back to me, through the emotion that they created with the amp. It made me kind of curious again. Wait a minute, that sounded good. Let me try to do this. It's like. That's the modern channel, obvious, instant kind of hard metal sound. But when I go back for like the vintage channel, the amp has, of course I put the gain on 10 and I use a little boost here. The amp has something already that makes it so masculine. It's like. Hey, and this is living room volume here.
Yeah.
No? We can talk over this.
Yeah, exactly. So what were you going for with those sounds then?
I mean, there were a couple of amps that I was inspired. One was a REVV, the 120 purple channel, but it was one of many amps. And of course I had different people that inspired me, telling me, hey, this is a cool amp and this is my setting. And I said, okay, let's see it. And then I did my own version of what I heard. And I'm not a one-to-one copy guy. But it's like, that sound, the vintage channel. With this guitar, I tried to pop Les Paul just for a sec. So it's funny. Sometimes when I watch the videos, when somebody reviews the Iridium, they all play, when they put the vintage channel, they play AC/DC kind of thing. Okay, this sounds like a vintage. Okay, you can actually do this, but on the other hand, this channel is super metal. Something I can't do, but I can do even some, I haven't changed anything here. Just a different guitar. this sound, I could imagine somebody like Doug Aldrich using it.
Yep.
It's you know, yeah, and it's fun. So, to me, the Iridium is a bit more in your face, a bit more aggressive, and it makes you feel like, yeah, I'm a hero. And with the Mercury, you are more in the world of classy. Maybe you know what I mean. It's like you're more elegant. I do some ABs in a minute, but I just show you what I like about the channels as they are, really briefly. This is the classic now.
And again, you just have the gain at 10 all the time, pretty much, for what you're doing with Iridium.
For what I'm doing right now, there's so much you can get from settings here, depending on the guitars and what you have in your mind. But I'm just doing my thing now. You know, it's like I'm playing gain on 10, also with a Strat, because then I can use the volume on the guitar. That's my thing. Yeah. And so I'm very much used to do that. But you get the sounds even tighter when you reduce the gain a bit. Yeah. Like on 7, this is like the sweet spot for a lot of gain, but not, But the Iridium is so tight, you can go on 10 and it's always good. But this That's the classic channel. I have not even touched the tone controls yet, but it's just, okay, you know, they are, just for the guys to know, it's mids on 5, treble on 5.
Yeah, and the bass is up at about
8.
8.
Yeah, whatever, but I can reduce to 5. It is, that's a kind of a medium setting. But it's
neutral, yeah.
Okay, and just for fun, I do the modern channel. Okay, gain forever.
Yeah.
So this is what we get with my settings here.
I think one of the interesting things for me as well is that when you've got the Iridium, a lot of people associate that amp with modern metal stuff. And it's like you say, people probably associate the Mercury edition with more elegant stuff, more classic sort of a styles. But actually what you've just played does go to show that you can play more classic rock styles. And there was a pretty interesting comment that came in a couple of minutes ago with someone saying, for example, if I was going to be getting a slash tone, which amp would be better for that? Would it be the Mercury edition or would it be the Iridium? And what would you recommend there?
It's a hard question. To be slash authentic, probably you go with the Mercury, but I think you probably do yourself a favor getting an Iridium, because this is getting that thing without the fight.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you're not on the extreme settings, you don't have to push it.
Yeah. So let me show you some A/B comparison stuff here. I have to...
I mean, one of the other questions I think people would ask there is, okay, if you're recommending...
Sorry, switch up.
For playing heavy classic rock stuff with the Iridium, some people might also be kind of worried and thinking, oh, well, if I want to play cleaner stuff, more vintagey sounding things, am I going to achieve that with the Iridium? And I don't personally think that there has been enough played on the Iridium's clean channel. So I think you've got to show that as well.
Absolutely. So this is... Okay, you know what? I got my looper somewhere here. Is it still plugged in? And then we see what it sounds. Okay. So this at the end was the Mercury, and before we had the Iridium.
Yeah.
Anyone better? No, they are just different.
Yeah.
And they have both a certain nice character. This is maybe a bit, let's say, more transparent, since I designed it to be as transparent as could be with humbuckers. And there's nothing wrong. You can do the same music with both amps. Yeah. Okay, do I confuse you now? Well, maybe I do. On the other hand, let's see if we can find some sweet spot.
Well, let me just ask then as well, if if you say that you can make the same music on both amps, why do you always play the Mercury Edition? Why not sometimes take the Iridium out for a gig?
And the Strat, it's 100% my favorite. That's me. And my Strat with that amp, it's the perfect match.
Yeah, and you do say that the humbucker players will turn more towards the Iridium, right?
Yeah, that's at least my opinion.
Yeah.
There are guys that play a Strat with the Iridium and they are totally happy, but that's a different person. Me, this is how I see the world, you know?
Do you reckon you could do your Blue Plays Hendrix stuff on the Iridium?
I could, but it would sound different. It would be a bit, how to describe it? It wouldn't be as bloomy. You know, it's like, I like the muddy bloominess of the cranked, vintagey Marshall, smoking, fuzzy sounds that Hendrix had with a fuzz, and that he also got from the amps being cranked. And that's a certain mid character which I find more in the Mercury.
Yeah.
Anyway. But let me play something else with this guitar and see what. Yeah, again, I think there's some clarity about the Iridium that it's nice, and there's some kind of woodiness on the Mercury that it's nice.
Yeah.
It depends on what you
like.
I
mean, your ears are so well trained to hear these tiny differences, and of course you designed these amps too. Yeah. To my lesser trained ears, those two for me sound very, very similar. Maybe you guys watching at home, do they sound very similar to you, or are you hearing a big difference between those two clean amps there?
Yeah, would be interesting.
Yeah.
I can go to different extremes with both amps. That's the point, because now I'm kind of in the middle of the road setting here, but also the custom controls give me more options in a different direction on the Iridium compared to the Mercury, which are two separate. This is where they kind of go a little bit more separate. Let me show you the vintage channel. I go and here we go, and here we go. Okay, this is kind of too loud. Wait a minute. Okay, I will play one riff and switch A-B.
Yep.
Okay, for me, when I play the Iridium, it makes me feel like I'm more a hard rock guitar. Mercury. See, this is what I would say is the slash effect. Here I have this beautiful tone. But here. This is a beast. This is an animal.
Yeah, there's a much bigger difference between the voicings on the gain channel.
Yeah.
Some really interesting comments coming in about the clean channels.
Oh, yeah.
Mercury sounds more organic, says Soulful Funky 63. Peter says the Iridium sounds more clear or hard. And that's kind of how I hear it a bit, and I see that hardness as being like the aggressiveness of the clean sound in a modern tone.
Yeah.
Someone else says not the same. Lex says it's what Thomas said. It's hard to hear the subtle differences via a live stream.
Yeah.
Dominic says the Mercury clean is more old Fender amp.
Yeah.
The Iridium clean is more modern hi-fi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
G Music, Iridium is modern sound. Mercury more like an old vintage sort of an amp. Gabrielle says there is a difference, but as Thomas says, both are great, just a matter of personal taste. It's all true.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Iridium sounds clearer and darker. In this setting, I would prefer the Iridium. Sounds a bit more fuzzy and wild. The Iridium is very controlled and fat.
Yeah. See, and that's the point. Usually, I feel a bit guilty because I always rave about my Mercury so much because that's my amp.
Yeah.
And like today, I wanted to be fair, me personally being fair to my Iridium as well, because I discovered how much I personally can kind of like that amp now after the year two, with the feedback I got and watching other people how what they do with it. And it's a process it's probably still going on. I will still not switch to the Iridium, but I'm having fun with it. And if I do stuff like that, the Iridium is simply killer. Let me go back to the Mercury. Iridium has a bit more high-ends too. It makes me feel like, hey man, I'm wanna dig in. The chuck factor is inspiring on that amp. If you are into chuck, there's more chuck for you.
Yeah, the Mercury Edition chugs a little bit, but if you want chug, the Iridium is going to be the choice every time.
Yeah, but the Mercury is the bluesiness. Now I'm again on the raving about my Mercury. Like, I try to do the same on the Iridium now. Mercury. Yeah, the sweetness of the Mercury is what I like. And I have both kind of with boosted treble here at this point. This is kind of 6 or 7, and this is at 8 even.
Yep.
I can go, if I go to 5, it's even sweeter. Or let's go to 6, both on like same setting here. But it's like, we are now playing the Mercury. Now switching to Iridium. With Les Paul, I like them both.
Yeah, and you can get bluesy on the vintage
Yeah.
channel of the Iridium with
Yeah,
the Les Paul, can't you?
yeah. But the attitude, there's a certain attitude on that amp. It makes me feel like I'm a blueser, but I'm not the soft blueser. I'm the, white snake blueser.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel.
What about the modern channels?
Oh, they're very different.
Yeah.
Let's do the extreme and see what happens. Iridium, okay? And now we go for the Mercury. And back to the Iridium. it's more brutal.
Yeah, for the down-tuned stuff, Iridium
Yeah.
definitely
Bomb.
shines more.
Yeah, and even for my soloing stuff, the Iridium is more in your face. It's brutal. And this is what metal guys like. They want it brutal.
Yeah.
And even if you play brutal blues, you can play the brutal blues here. There's not a... Yeah, I mean, Iridium is also very inspiring, but it's more like makes me feel like 10 years younger, and like, you know, going for the big rock thing.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
more than...
More, exactly. And that would lead me to another question, actually. What about someone who's already got the Mercury edition and they want to achieve tones like this? Are there any tips that you can give them to get there? You know, can you stick a tube screamer in front of it to tighten it up? What would you recommend?
It is yes and no. And I mean, you know, the power amps of those two amps are the foundation of what's going on, and they are so different already. And therefore, a tube screamer will get you somewhere. Do we have? Can you hold us for another guitar?
Yeah, I'm just a glorified guitar stand tonight, but I enjoy that.
Where is my? There's a tube screamer. So here's a tube screamer.
Oh, I like that comment from Bruno. He says Iridium is like black coffee.
Yeah.
Mercury is like coffee with cream.
Oh yeah,
that's quite nice, isn't it?
Yeah, that's how I like. Yeah. So
I'm also thirsty, so I'm gonna
yeah. Okay. So let's put a tube screamer in line with the Mercury and see how we get there. Oh, now we are on super extreme high gain because I have the internal boost on, and I'm using the switching system. Might freak out by now, but because it's a bit too much of everything. But you never know. Let's see. Okay, this was the Iridium. Okay, now I go for the Mercury, adding a tube screamer first off, so we hear the difference. This is noise gate. What about noise gate? So this is the Mercury as it is, and now I bring in the extra tube screamer for even more gain. Okay, versus the Iridium. does half of it, but only half. So there's it is not that simple, because the Tube Screamer gives you the extra gain push and the mid hump, and but the power amp in the Iridium reacts slightly different. Maybe you don't hear that much, but it still feels a bit different. But hey, that's a recipe how to get closer.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly took us in that direction.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And there are guys that use even the Iridium with an extra Tube Screamer, which is not needed, but hey, this is like how much cream can you put on into your black coffee?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
and create a new taste here. Any other questions?
Lots of really interesting comments coming in. Again, people comparing the amps to drinks. Peter saying the Iridium is like the tequila without the lemon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
That's kind of the mood that you get from it. That's for sure.
I mean, today it's a birthday. We have to get more drinks. My drink is almost.
Yeah, exactly. And a cool comment from Niels Finkeisen, who's still here. Yeah, he likes the coffee comparison. He says the Mercury is JTM45-ish crunch tones, whereas the Iridium is more like starting in JCM800 territory for tightness and brightness, and then moving on from there.
Yeah.
And I think Niels is right, and I think we're going to see in the coming up video how it's going to sound at the hands of Niels.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Renee says cascade the gain. Yeah.
Cascade the gain. Yeah.
There's this thing about I talked about this in another episode already, cascading gain stages, but it's great to get the rich tone. Okay, what is tone? BluGuitar, what is it called? Tone innovation. So it's about tone, and tone is the most important thing. To me, the tone starts in our heads.
Yeah.
I have a concept of my tone. You might have a different concept for your tone, and you have a different concept for whatever your tone is. And I think it's great to be inspired by other people, because you kind of reflect with what's in your head, with other people, what other people are doing, and this is always great to be open and see, this is what I like, or this is what I don't like. So sometimes stuff that you don't like helps you a lot, because it's like, I can get this off my list and this, and what's left over is this. Yeah. And that's me. And so that's a good way to get closer to your tone. And therefore, I think it's cool that I can show you my thing, and also the guys with the other videos do their style and show their music, and then you react to it in a way like, oh, this was the bit that touched me. This is the bit that I want. And what was he doing? He was using the classic channel. We didn't even switch to the classic channel yet. That's the last thing I do.
Yep. For those just asking about the Tube Screamer settings, by the way, we have got the gain all the way down. Yeah. And it was more of a volume boost, what you were doing with it. Can we show that? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, so as you can see, overdrive 0, tone 3 o'clock, maybe a bit more, but this doesn't matter that much. It's a high roll off. And the Tube Screamer has a natural mid hump, and this was used to kind of tighten up and focus the mids again. Yeah, that's the typical blues, the Tube Screamer job. Yeah. So get rid of it again. So where are we? This is okay. No, we wanted to show the classic channel. Okay, Mercury boost classic channel setting on the side. Let me see what it is. This one. Closed. Okay, let's put the same here on the closed position. It's like classic, boost on, reverb on, and okay, we were here. And now we go for the Iridium. No sound. Why? I would comment that this is already too much in your face. This is, I mean, it's great, but it's like, I'm a rock star. I'm loud. I'm there, you know? And it's like get rid of a little bit of the treble, maybe increase the mids a bit, and let's see. Back to the Mercury. I like it. Sorry, it's like classic and a Les Paul on a Mercury killer. I do something different on that classic channel with the Iridium. First I show you what this does with playing similar stuff, but it's like instantly it takes me away from the bluesiness. I mean, I can spend some time in that mindset, and I like it, but then it's like there's, you know, this is the path I should follow.
Yeah,
there's a different inspiration on it, and I even had the delay on, which helps that. That's to me, that's the Iridium. Yeah, I mean, it's like, hey, here's the way to go. I mean, now I tweaked the custom control and maxed the classic channels tone to be that, yeah, German metal tone.
Yeah, but I can see that you have a different mindset when you switch this one on as opposed to that one. It's just your body language changes, the way that you play changes, and that makes total sense because the amps are intrinsically different.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of different amplifiers, different guitars. And sometimes we even get fooled. That's a classic that I have. You know, I watched myself in a music store or even in my studio plugging into an amp, having the wrong cable, the wrong amp, looking at a Fender and playing Fender licks through a Marshall. And it sounded so Fender because my mindset was fooling me. And in the end, it is a lot of psychology or whatever, inspiration, but the amp or the guitar, which is giving you a certain feedback on what you're doing, is giving you inspiration as well. And for me today was just kind of to clean up that I can be a very happy user of the Iridium myself too. That was kind of what I wanted to express today. 1 year of it took me 1 year.
Yeah, exactly. That's what the trophy is for, that you finally accepted that you can play the Iridium too.
Oh yeah, finally we become friends. So this is the Iridium trophy for me. Okay, official friends after a year of live streams.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do we have any more questions? Black Magic Woman and Painted Black. Haha, yeah. Well, you know, it comes to my mind. Whatever. I haven't been playing that much lately. I suck a bit. Sorry. That's too busy with other things. It will come back. It will come back.
There's one really good question that came in before from Mick Rose, and he said, "Are there any tones that you still miss that you can't achieve?" Either from the Mercury or from the Iridium? Is there a third amp that is necessary to find a certain sound?
I think with some extra pedals, I can get anywhere. I mean, this is a platform in of kind of that side of the world of amplifiers, and that's an amp on another side. And what's missing is I can achieve with pedals. So personally, that's the whole palette of tones that I need. For instance, I need a compressor for certain tones, and then I can do stuff which is not in the amps as it is, but with a compressor I can get there. And like I'm a big David Gilmour fan, and he also used compressors, or he used settings on amps that were not distorting so much, that had more compression. And I can get there with a compressor and, for instance, the Mercury.
So I guess what you're saying is, if you could put the Mercury edition together with the Iridium in one box and also have certain effects built in, that would be an amp that would have a certain X factor.
Yeah, it is exactly what my idea was. And with that technology, as we can see here, we can get to anything that I know of. And if you have that kind of X factor, you can get anywhere.
Yeah.
But the other point is, these amps as they are, it is just a matter of taste. But if you find your tones in there, it doesn't get any better. Because there is no better. This is, nanotube, all analog, AB comparison versus whatever old school tube amps, Holy Grail, Black Flag Marshalls, or whatever. We have the AC/DC kind of thing, and the tone level is already there if you find the right setting for what is in your head. And that's always the question, if you get there. And if not, there's a pedal that can tweak it in a way. And with those two amps, you get almost, I think you can get anywhere. And if there's something you can't find at all, let us know. It's a nice challenge for me. I will look at it, but I'm very, very sure that we get there without a big setup, just with a few tweaks here and there. And this is what I notice with users. They kind of rediscover their amps after a while, because at first glance you're looking for something and you're so happy you found it. And then when time moves on, and then there's a random setting that happens just by accident. Oh, this was nice. What was going on here? And then, I used the bass at this, never tried that again. Can I do that? Yeah, it works, So there is more in these amps than you probably think at first sight.
Yeah. It would be actually interesting to know if any of you guys at home have any sounds that you can't find.
Yeah, let us know.
Maybe comment those tones here or write them to us on social media, and that's something we can try in future episodes.
Yeah.
We give Thomas the challenge to find the sound of a certain player.
I love challenges. That's, life can be so boring without challenging. And that's something that it's also inspiring. Because it has to move me out of my comfort zone. And every time I'm leaving my comfort zone, there's something in it for me to learn. And therefore, the challenge is a good thing. And if I can't do it, I've done many things that are okay, so my ego is not demolished, demoliert.
Yeah, demolished, yeah.
Demolished, okay, English. Okay, any last question here? I'd like to see an episode about Fuzz and AMP1. Yes, that's on my wish list too. We spoke about this. Yeah, what else is on the list? How about Laney Lionheart? We had one in here. Great amp. It's which episode was it? We did 52, some kind in the middle.
Yeah, I think it's before my time maybe, so somewhere in the middle. But just, go onto our YouTube channel and search for Lionheart, and the episode will come up where... Yeah, was it you testing it, or did you have a special guest that episode as well?
We had a guest, and was it a Lionheart? It was definitely a Laney. We did some Tony Iommi stuff.
Ah, yeah, okay.
Anyway, we double check, and... what else is on the screen here? AMP1 is a great pedal for using a lot with, oh my god, pedal Christian Kohle. You mean Kohlekeller Studios?
Yeah, people saying he would be a great guest for a future Academy of Tone episode. Well,
yeah,
for sure he would, wouldn't he?
Yes, absolutely. We need to... I talked to him over the phone, and everything was totally easy. He was so busy, but... I give it another try, and he is not too far away from here. It's like only 2 hours drive, so it's not like at the end of the world. But yeah, would be cool. And maybe make a trip down there in his studio. I'm curious, and cool guy.
Yeah. James Hetfield.
Yeah.
Kevin says, have fun trying to get those tones, but that's something you could try. Maybe we could get like a Metallica specialist in to try and do that.
That would be cool.
Do we have any from the region?
Let me double check, because everybody knows Metallica, even I do. But what is the difference between the Black Album and the Masters of Puppets album? And there are some iconic Metallica sounds in the studio, and some of them are maybe iconic, but I don't like them as much because they sound a bit processed, but they have some killer. I think the Black Album sounded simply great.
Yeah.
So that's a good topic. But I guess we leave you guys with our clip that we did with Niels when I was in Hamburg with the AB comparison, and I hope you enjoy it and you can hear it, and AB is always a nice thing. And this was kind of, we didn't do any rehearsal. I just asked, hey, what's in the house? Bring me any amp that is a challenge. So, and the biggest thing I was afraid of was the modified Marshall, because it's like, oh, Manfred Reckmeyer mod, and I know him, and I have one of modded from, and I thought, wow, you know, I know the classic amps, but he must have done something outstanding here. And when we played it, it's like, it was already there in the vintage channel. It's like, there it is. Ooh, okay. I wasn't expecting that. So for me, this was good. I don't know how it sounds. I haven't seen the clip yet. I was just in the room when we did it, when we shot the video. So that's my memory. So I will watch it with you guys.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting watch. One very last tone question. Heinz is searching for the Shadows tone with a Vox AC30. I'm pretty sure you might have covered something at least similar to that.
Similar in a very, very early episode. I showed my Vox AC30. You can see it like on the thumbnail of the video clip. Must have been episode 5 around. I don't remember, 52 episodes. So, AC30 sound and Shadows. I have to tell you guys, my first music with guitar, when I was a kid, I mean a real kid, like 5 years old, whatever, I didn't know who was the composer, who was the guitar player, but it was Apache from the Shadows. So this was the music this was my first music with which I listened to. I had a cassette with dong 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 dong, and this was the Shadows. And I had a pleasure to meet Hank Marvin in person. Great sense of humor. This was in Wembley Arena when at the finals for the Strat King Award, and he lives also in Australia a bit, and super humor. The guy was, you know, British humor meets Australian laissez-faire, whatever, you know, cool guy, super, cool vibes. The guy is such a sweet guy. And Shadows AC30, he's the master, and you need that echo. The echo is part of the deal. The quick one on the Mercury, go and put it to 6, maybe, and you're almost there. I mean, I love the guy. I like the music. I like the Stratocaster, and Mercury is already kind of AC30 style.
Yeah.
And if you want to know another facet of that, kind of use the vintage channel, and if it's on a low gain setting like 3, and if it's too bright for you, Vox AC30s can also be very bright. There's a top boost version. If it's use the low gain mode, and then you can get a warmer version of that tone, and you are there. That's Aber that's a nice idea. Maybe I should do a special on Hank Marvin and, you know, songs like FBI and
yeah, he's probably a player who deserves that.
Yeah, I mean, he was the inspiration for all my heroes. I mean, in the 60s, he inspired like everybody in the UK, and those second generation guitar players inspired me. So it would be nice to go to the roots.
The one problem is we'll have to build a red master built Strat for you to do that episode.
Okay, so, I finally got a blue one.
Yeah, you'll need another color.
A 59. So, you know, there's a 61 white Strat, and then there's this blue one that I have now, and a 59. It's a 58. Oops, back. 58 is the year that you need for Shadows.
Yeah, so there you go. Some nice Shadows tips for you. Look for the earlier Academy of Tone episode where the Vox AC30 is, but I think you're going to get pretty close with those tips.
Yeah.
And
Ben Granfeld, I see here so much info again. Guten Gute Nacht. Okay, one N too many, but he's getting very good with his German lately.
He's trying. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, no, but he's good. But hey, stay here because now comes, now comes the inside with Niels and the AB thing, which AB stuff is always interesting. And this was kind of caught in the act. We had no sound check. We just put the amp here. You dial in whatever you do, and I just try to copy the tone a bit while he was playing. And that's always, it's fun to watch, and it shows the potentials of the amp.
Exactly, yeah. So stick around for that, and don't forget to come back next week because there is another very exciting episode already in the planning, I think, with some very loud distortion pedals.
Oh yeah, we have tons of ideas. Let's discuss on the weekend what we actually do. But yeah, maybe we do that. Maybe we do something else.
Exactly, yeah. And in the meantime, guys, please, if you're still watching the video, subscribe to the channel if you will, like the video, hit the bell for all the notifications, that kind of stuff, because it helps Thomas, it helps us, us if more people see the videos.
Yeah, and I mean, I always forget about mentioning this. A professional YouTube channel guy always has to tell this, like subscribe and hit the bell and whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, I do this with other channels as well, and this is how it works. Yeah. Anyway, see you next week. But stay here and watch me. I'm still here for you guys, and Niels at a very late night A/B testing.
The last one is the Rectifier, but it's tough. It's tough.
Which one is this one? Play again.
Iridium.
That's a Rectifier. Okay, you're right. Nice.
It's very, very close.
Yeah.
They only differ slightly bit in the bass department.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. Are we using any of the pedals at the moment, or is this
only the gate?
Yeah, it's only the gate.
But for both.
For both, yeah. This is in front of both amps. Okay, you want to boost anything with?
Yeah, if I was a Rectifier player, and I don't love these amps actually. I respect what they built here, but it's not my personal preference. If I was a Rectifier player, and there are many guys like me who would say, well, let's try a tube screamer, let's try a Fortin boost to make it tight because of those annoying bass frequencies. They are gone. Let's
closer.
The fun is tube screamer off.
And now
tube screamer on. So, well, in my opinion, the Rectifier sounds better with a tube screamer on, and the BluGuitar AMP1 Iridium in this setting doesn't even need a tube screamer.
Yeah, yeah,
because it's tighter.
Yeah, it's tighter. It is like the tube screamer does the job of getting a little roll off in the low end, and this is already kind of built into the preamp of the Iridium. Yeah. And of course, when Mesa designed the Rectifier, the world was different because I don't think that the amp was planned to be used in that style?
I think they did plan it, but they did some misconceptions in the gain staging.
Yeah.
They have been building Mark II C++, Mark III, and Mark IV before they started to build the single and dual rectifiers.
Right.
And they have had it right for the metalhead, for the Lamb of God, Dream Theater, whatever technical metal guy. They have had one product that was able to be super, super tight. But they wanted to do something else. And this became the sound of 90s rock guitar, of modern rock and American rock. Creed, Alter Bridge.
Yeah.
The Canadian guys. Yeah, well, it's a good amp, but if I would play it, I would play it with a tube screamer anyway. And that device, well, you don't need a tube screamer.
Yeah. What's the difference from the tube screamer to the 14?
The 33 is more or less just a treble boost. It doesn't color your sound. It doesn't add much of hiss and noise. It's not really compressing. It cuts your signal below 300 hertz.
Wow.
Which means it's like super, super thin. And it's boosting some mid-range above 300. Let's compare it.
Yeah.
It works wonders with this amp.
Yeah, I mean, this amp is a bit woolly in the low end, and with this 1433, you have the aggression, the bite, the brutality for metal.
The thing with the Fortin is it has just one setting. It's like 2 o'clock, plus minus 5 minutes. You can ask everybody who's using this pedal. It's always like the 2 o'clock position here, above the 3. It's always the same.
Well,
if you reduce gain, it doesn't work. If you put in more, you've got your low end again.
Yeah.
It's still starting to fart out on the front end.
Yeah. Well, you can tape it there then.
It's a one-trick pony, and well, it does one trick very, very well. But compare it, rectifier with a Fortin. Look. You know what?
Yeah.
Just take the fourth channel. It's way tighter.
You want that?
I don't want to clone the rectifier here.
Yeah.
But ready?
Yeah.
Comparison?
Yeah. It's super tight. It's doing that job. Cool.
So if you like the 33 sounds, the really Meshuggah, modern metal, janty stuff,
try the fourth channel here.
That's definitely
the modern channel.
It's not to my liking, but it is what you would need if you like the Fortin pedal in front of everything, or a 5150 with a Fortin pedal or a rectifier. To my liking in that amp is one thing, and that's I try to make the rectifier sound a little more like what I like in the third channel of the Iridium. Well, let's compare this. That's very.
What's your setting here? I have not checked any of your settings.
Okay. The thing is, I play guitars with Klopman humbuckers, but I love single coils for metal, and I usually play something like third channel boost on mid to 7-ish.
Okay, this is a total difference. I was, by the way, just for the guys to know where the settings were at the moment, bass only on 2, mids on 3.5, and treble on 5. This came from the classic channel when we had the first thing comparing with the tone of the classic all the way up. Weird setting. Whatever, but this seems to be similar to that in the A-B comparison you could hear. So now your setting.
With single coils for modern metal, it does work. Third channel boost on.
Third channel means the modern or the classic?
The classic.
The classic, yeah.
Boost on bass.
How much?
Full on.
Full, okay, yeah.
Bass to 5, middle to about 7, treble about 5 again.
Okay,
5 to 6.
got that. Maybe
then-
the level is now too high. Yeah.
And then we need the tone control on the side to
Yeah.
reduce a little bit of the chirpiness and treble.
Which means counterclockwise?
Yeah, counterclockwise.
Okay, okay.
And that's way more mid-rangey than
Yeah.
what we have with the Rectifier and the Tube Screamer or a Forden.
Yeah.
And it sits way better in the mix. We can open the sound with a treble, if you ask me, but
Yeah.
it's just
It's
a
not
slight
needed.
bit. Yeah. For me, that's one of the most pragmatic, mid-rangey, really honky and nasal setting. But if you have a playback with synthesizers, if you have a second guitar player, if you have a bass player, a double kick drum, snare, cymbals, actually you don't have that much space in the
yeah.
mix. And if you want to be heard, try something like super mid-rangey and then raise the volume and then open it. So we could make this easily, not that mid-rangey, or open it in the bass department.
Yeah, simply you
Yep.
play and
Yep.
I turn the knob of the classic. So for me, the thing is, you know, it's very easy. You change the broadness of the tone, and this depends on how much room you have in the band.
Definitely.
And this is all on one knob here. So it kind of opens the sound if you need that or if you want that, if you can afford it. If not, go counterclockwise, like where we started, which definitely works.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because you can raise volume afterwards.
Yeah.
It sounds like tinny and small, but then you make yourself louder.
And then it's
And it's
brutal.
like, bam.
Then it's brutal, yeah.
And that's what is very, very difficult. So a Telecaster on a Rectifier without a boost, without a mid-range boost, that would be not so funny, actually. So that wouldn't work for my style of playing with this guitar.
Yeah, I think that's the new dual rectifier with pedals compared to the Iridium. And we got a few more amps here to check
Oh
out.
yes, we've got a bunch of amplifiers behind you.
Okay, we make a quick changeover and then we check the next amp. Our next candidate is a REVV amp and it's the Generator 740. It's the little brother of the Generator P, which is the big brother, which I like a lot, especially the purple channel. But anyway, this is the one in the house and this is what we can compare it to now.
I have never played the big one, but I did my best to make this sound
As good as possible.
good as possible for my ears. Let's see.
So we can.
I couldn't tell which amp is which. I could tell which one I like better. One. Difficult. Again, the one. Second. Second one is a little more organic. The first one is way tighter, way faster in the attack.
Yeah.
I like the first one better.
Yeah, the first one is the AMP1, and I'm using the classic, the vintage channel this time. Different channel.
Even the mellow vintage channel is tighter.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this when I heard this amp, I thought, yeah, it has this more vintagey approach, which is not as tight as the other amps we compared it to. So I thought, let's go for the vintage channel, and the rest is, there's slightly difference here and there. This has a different mid-range to my ears. To my ears, it's a bit boxy, to be honest. I think this one is a bit more defined. It has a certain, here's my edge, and maybe that's what you like.
What I don't like about that voicing, but I couldn't get rid of it, it's actually boxy. It's a little, I know the REVV 3 pedal, the purple one. I own one. I love it. It's great.
It's great.
I know the red channel pedal. It's pretty cool as well, but I think both pedals are sounding better than this amplifier, and I hope that the 120 is as good as you say.
Yeah, but I'm honest, I have to say that this vintage channel is a little bit inspired by the big brother of this one, which is kind of from the same guys, and this it is that sound, but I think it's a bit better. The purple channel of the 120 is a glorious tone.
But the thing is, this is the old version of the amplifier.
Maybe they have a better one now.
And I think they had a good purpose why they did. So, well, maybe the new one sounds a little tighter. I don't know.
Whatever. So this was the quick one here. And the settings, just for reference, easy. Gain on 10. And then it was the bass on 8, the mids on 7, and the treble on 5. And here we go. It's a pretty similar sound, and they both have their character. Yeah, check out some more amps. Yeah, next amp is a Fryette from Stephen Fryette, our good friend from the USA, Deliverance.
Yeah, that's definitely one of my 2-3 favorite amps ever. That thing is the mighty Deliverance 62. The 60 is like half the power amplifier of the 120. It's a slightly more upper mid-rangey amp. It has all the good Marshall qualities of a super lead. It has all the good qualities of a super bass, and it has a gain of a rectifier, actually.
Yeah.
So he's getting thing really on point. It is tight. It has bass. It is fast. And it is very predictable, but very unforgiving.
Yeah, this is what you want. Yep. And now we have the Iridium. You play, I switch.
Okay. The very last one was the Fryette, but I couldn't hear it until I did the overtone thing.
Yeah. Okay.
It was the only discipline where I could hear that the very last tiny bit was the Fryette. Am I right?
Actually, no. see, I didn't. If you're talking about the very last bit.
Very last bit, yeah. Then I was wrong.
No, the very, very last one was
then you fooled me.
Yeah. But anyway, I think they're pretty close.
It's extremely close.
Yeah. And what I can comment on, I mean, this is you playing this kind of fast thing, and now I'm free to do whatever the sound matching. You don't fool yourself, because it's like you are only the player and you feel it and you can only hear it. But yeah, maybe.
So okay, this is my favorite setting in the amplifier. If it comes to Fryette amps, I would recommend to try it not at 12 o'clock, like at noon every single poti, but at like at 3 o'clock.
3 is the setting for this amp.
That's the starting point, and then you do reduce bass and depth and increase presence and gain and stuff. But to capture this sound, what's the setting on the AMP1? That's interesting for me now.
Yeah, okay. It's a pretty standard setting actually. We are using the classic channel. I'm having the classic tone in the middle. I'm using full gain on 10. I have the boost on, also maxed, so tons of gain, but I think this is also about gain. And now the post EQ is simple. Treble is on 5 in the middle is on 5 in the middle, and the bass is on 8. So I give it a little bit extra oomph, and that's it.
8, 5, 5. Everything else maxed more or less.
Yeah. And the gain is maxed, and the tone of the classic channel is in the middle.
12 block.
Yeah, that's the setting.
Good to know for me, because I love that sound.
Yeah.
It's not the everyday sound. You can't play this sound on every record or on every band. It's more like what I like to play in my private time.
Yeah, sure.
Noodling around.
Yeah, and Steve Fryette always has been on the forefront of modern amps. I know Steve for probably 20 years already. We are friends. We talk about things behind the scenes, and yeah, he's a very, very nice guy in the industry. And we all know this industry is very small. So he always, and he has the what's the power stage? The thing that
I think it's called Fryette Power Station 2.
Station.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of a dummy load kind of thing, and a tube amp that brings back the volume. So you can have your traditional tube amp cranked, then loaded into this power stage, and then you can tweak the sound, just the volume of your cranked amp at any volume. And that's a very, very unique product, which I also highly respect.
I haven't double-checked this product yet, but my concern is he's doing it with 6L6, and what I like in his amps is the KT88 stuff.
KT88, because they are more punchy?
I don't know what is happening here. I usually hate those tubes, but with his circuit, it's a great tube.
Yeah. The KT88s I know from the Marshall major amps. You know, Richie Blackmore, me, the old school guy. Richie was playing those 200-watt Marshalls, and to me, they have a certain unforgiveness.
Yeah. Again, what I told you about this amp, it's unforgiving.
Yeah. So they are cleaner than other tubes in a way, but they also have a warmth. So I'm not saying they are clean and sterile. They are just clean and punchy, but not sterile. So great tubes. So this is KT88.
Yeah, that's 2 of them, and the 120, it's 4 of them.
Sure.
And they only differ in the power amplifier and the phase inverter. I don't know why he's tweaking the phase inverter in the 60, but I think it's a 12AX7 in the 60 and a 12AT7 in the 120.
I don't know why, but hey, he knows what he's doing, and
definitely he does.
Yeah, and it sounds killer.
Fun fact about his amps and his designs: I am the first guy who's opening the amp, pulling preamp tubes and fiddling around and tube rolling with vintage Mallards, RFTs from the 70s, whatever, the really expensive stuff. I have never found new old stock or old stock preamp tubes that fit the amp better than what Steven is putting into his amplifiers.
Yeah, I mean,
he knows what he does.
Yeah, he's a nerd, as we are, and therefore we talk. Because, we are on the same level, and we all, you know, as I said, we are a small industry, and he definitely knows what he's doing, and he does care.
But so, well, as you are capturing the Fryette like 99%, or even the product sounds slightly better even, I don't know. I liked it better in that case, and I was like, okay, that must be the Fryette. So that explains why I love to play with this. Because it can sound pretty similar.
Yeah, we have a few options here, but hey, we have more amps. Our next candidate is a beautiful JCM800 from Marshall, modded by our dear friend Manfred Reckmeyer. I personally own a Manfred Reckmeyer modded vintage Marshall. Maybe some of you guys have seen that in the Academy of Tone, the one that has adjustable low cut and an extra boost. This amp here, what kind of modifications do you know of is on this one?
I can't really tell you what he did, but I know that the goal was to make a JCM800 quieter usable. So half the power, it was a 100 watts version, they reduced it to 50 watts, slightly upped the gain in the input. They did something with a negative feedback, I guess, with the compression. So it's not super extremely loud and still sounds good.
Yeah, so it sounds like a very open, cranked, in-your-face JCM800, and even at lower volumes, if that's the case. Okay, and I have the Iridium on the other side. Let's play some music and switch A/B.
Oh, the noise gate. Tell which amp is which amp. No way.
Actually, in the middle of the set, I was closing my eyes and I was thinking, do I hear a difference? Maybe, maybe not.
I can't.
It's actually pretty close. I wasn't expecting that one.
It is close. They are not. That was not exactly the same sound, but it's so close I couldn't recognize if it was the Marshall or the AMP1.
Yeah,
no chance. No chance.
Yeah. Okay, for the guys, what was the setting here? Well, the vintage channel with no boost and the gain on 8. And here comes the bass on 10, the middles on 4.5 or 4.25, whatever. Okay, the mids are very sensitive. And the treble almost on 5, like 4.5 again, but more towards the 5, and that's it. It's just more bass than a standard setting, and that's it.
Well, one thing about old Marshalls is how they can react and play with old tube screamers. Okay, shouldn't we double check what happens if we activate the tube screamer, and let's see what happens here. You switch around the amps and the tube screamer on off. I don't know. Do it what?
Okay,
I'll do it blind.
Here is.
Very difficult.
Yeah.
Let's activate the tube screamer and the noise gate, and then you switch the amps. Nope.
Well,
still super similar.
yeah. Well, and I've been back and forth, back and forth. Sometimes I noticed with the Marshall there was a slight, very high fizzy feedback in the ultra high end. Maybe because you were closer to the amp.
Yeah, I'm very, very close
You know,
with
the
the single
pickups,
coil to the output transformer.
But besides that, nothing really big.
I could neither hear a big difference, and the point is I couldn't feel a big difference. The crazy thing is you want your like guitarists want to feel the tone. They at least imagine that they feel what they play. And even in a single note run or sweep or patch or whatever,
There's not a real big difference. There's not
make a difference.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, that's the good thing about A/B blind testing. Nobody knows what's the result, and I'm impressed too because I really admire the work of Manfred Reckmeier. He knows what he's doing, and I know him for maybe 30 years.
It is an exceptional good Marshall.
Yeah,
I love what he did here.
yeah. Okay, cool. Well. There's more to come.
But that's it for today, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it for today. See you. Bye-bye.